The FBI was too willing to accept and use politically funded and uncorroborated opposition research, such as the Steele dossier. It did so even after the President of the United States, the FBI and CIA directors and others received briefings about intelligence suggesting that there was a Clinton campaign plan underway to stir up a scandal tying Trump to Russia.
And that was Special Counsel John Durham on Wednesday testifying before the House Judiciary Committee with what we knew, that the Trump-Russia investigation had no basis nor predicate to even get started, because the Russia collusion lie was just that. Yet FBI leadership failed to properly scrutinize information it gathered and did not, quote, apply the same standards to allegations it received about the Clinton and Trump campaigns. This, as we learned, Hunter Biden cut a deal this week with his father's DOJ that will see him plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges, which is expected to carry no prison time. Biden has also signed on to a pretrial diversion agreement that will allow him to avoid prosecution on a felony charge of possession of a firearm, which, if convicted, carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. But the biggest bombshell of the week comes from a message on WhatsApp, apparently from Hunter Biden to a Chinese executive tied to the Chinese Communist Party. The message sounds more like a mobster shakedown. Hunter writes this: "I am sitting here with my father, and we want to understand why the commitment was not fulfilled." He goes on to threaten the Chinese executive that he will face retaliation if the commitment is not met by the guy sitting next to me and everyone he knows. This, as a pair of IRS whistleblowers told the House Ways and Means Committee in closed-door testimony revealed on Thursday that the agency recommended felony tax charges, but it was not pursued by the Justice Department. The whistleblowers were consistently denied investigative steps in their efforts on that case. Later on Thursday night, both Hunter Biden and Attorney General Merrick Garland attended a White House state dinner for Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and they schmoozed with the Director of National Intelligence, among other senior administration guests, on the week that Hunter is pleading guilty. With more on all of this, let's bring in House Judiciary Committee Chairman Congressman Jim Jordan. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you, Mary.
Well, interesting to see this picture of Hunter Biden at the state dinner at the White House on the week that he's supposed to be pleading guilty and gets a misdemeanor charge, and no effort whatsoever to look at the actual income and where it came from.
Right. I think the big takeaway from last week is nothing has changed at the Justice Department. I mean, John Durham told us how bad it was, that it was all a lie, Crossfire Hurricane. He told us about they got incredible intelligence that said this whole thing, Trump-Russia narrative, was from the Clinton campaign. So the intelligence is credible enough that he briefs the president, the vice president, attorney general, the director of the FBI, puts it in a memo, and Jim Comey doesn't share that memo with the agents doing the case. I mean, that's how wrong. And now we get to this situation, and we have a whistleblower come forward and says they were denied information that they should have had. Hunter Biden got special treatment, preferential treatment, and they ran this case in a ridiculous way. So that to me is the big takeaway. Nothing has changed at the Justice Department, which is why what we do with the appropriations process and our focus on not allowing FISA to be reauthorized in its current form is so darn important.
I mean, all of this is so damning. That WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden to the Chinese executive, the fact that the FBI and the DOJ slow-walked all of this for years until the statute of limitations was in place. Your colleague, Chairman Jason Smith from House Ways and Means Committee, told me that the Bidens took in $17 million from 2014 to 2019, but the FBI sat on it and slow-walked it until the statute of limitations was in place. I don't understand how you look at evading taxes on income, but you don't look at where the income came from.
Yeah, well, also, Maria, think about this. The Attorney General told us he's going to take a hands-off approach. David Weiss, the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, he can run the case like he wants. But then David Weiss was asked to get special counsel status, and he's turned down. For goodness sake, if this case doesn't warrant special counsel status, I don't know what does. But they denied that to him. So you can't have the Attorney General saying, "Oh, I've taken a hands-off approach," and then this happened where he was denied. David Weiss was denied special counsel status. So I think when you step back and look at this, first of all, look at the credibility of these whistleblowers. Mr. Shapley, 14 years at the IRS, handled some of the biggest cases they've ever had. Then there's the anonymous whistleblower who had the same kind of background. These guys are credible people who've come forward. Second, you have the Attorney General, what he said. He was going to take a hands-off approach, but obviously he didn't. And then third, you have the facts. You have the Assistant U.S. Attorney, Lesley Wolf, who said that she tipped off Biden's lawyers when they were getting ready to do something. She told Mr. Shapley that he couldn't ask about the big guy, couldn't ask about Joe Biden, and couldn't use the term the big guy, even though they had that email. She limited what they could do in their investigation. I mean, that is just as wrong as it gets. So we want to make sure we get a chance to talk to this Lesley Wolf, the Assistant U.S. Attorney who was handling this case in Mr. Weiss's office there in Delaware. We think that's important as we move forward with this investigation.
So you will subpoena Lesley Wolf then?
We're going to look at all options on the table. We want to talk to her. There's typically a process you go through before you'd ever get to a subpoena. But if that's what it takes, we think it's important to talk to her. When she is doing those kind of things, she denied a search warrant. They had it approved, and then she said, no, we're not going to do it. A search warrant for the storage unit where Hunter Biden stored things. This is what Mr. Shapley and the agents on the case wanted to do. They were denied access to that. So when you're denying search warrants, when you're saying you can't ask about Joe Biden, can't use the term the big guy, and ask about that email, and tipping off the Justice Department is tipping off Hunter Biden's lawyers before you do something. I mean, think of the difference. Trump's lawyers weren't tipped off when they decided to raid his home, for goodness sake, even though they'd been working with President Trump all along.
Right.
So this is this preferential treatment that the whistleblowers are talking about that's not supposed to happen in our system of justice.
Well, we're looking at all of this, and we've got Peter Schweitzer and Miranda Devine coming up, as well as some of your colleagues on the Oversight Committee, Byron Donalds and Nancy Mace. But Peter Schweitzer said the dam is breaking on this Biden influence peddling story. We don't know if he's taken in $10 million, $30 million, $100 million from all of these foreign adversaries and foreign nationals, but there are some members of your committees that are talking about impeachment. Is that on the table?
It sure is. And look, we're driven by the facts and by the Constitution. If the facts show that there's high crimes, misdemeanors, bribery, treason, whatever, if the facts show that there is the crime there that warrants impeachment, then by our duty compels us. But we have to first get all the facts on the table. But you're right, they're piling up. 150 suspicious activity reports, 20 different companies they're running money through, all kinds of Biden family members getting paid. Now the whistleblowers coming forward with this set of facts, credible whistleblowers coming forward and telling us the things they've told us. It is all beginning to pile up. And again, we are driven by the facts. We will continue to do our investigation, let Mr. Comer and the Oversight Committee complete their investigation, and then look at all that. But if the Constitution dictates we go forward, then we will have to go forward. But we're not there yet. We got to continue to do the investigation.
And what specifically do you need to find out further? I mean, you've got a lot of information here in terms of money taken in and the FBI and DOJ slow walking it.
I think, again, we don't know what you're going to discover, but we just have to continue to do our work. That is our constitutional duty, to do oversight, to do it in a way so that it's helping us with legislation, helping us with the appropriations process, helping us gather all the pertinent facts. We will continue to do that.
Are you still getting stonewalled in terms of trying to gather those facts?
It's always slow with this administration, but we continue to press. And look, we're interviewing every week. We're doing 5 or 6 different depositions or transcribed interviews, as we call them in Congress, every single week. We just continue to do that with our work. I know Mr. Comer's got his focus as well. And they overlap so much because they deal with the Justice Department. That's where the FBI and the Justice Department, where we're primarily focused. Yeah. But we'll continue to do all that and get the facts for the American people. All right. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. We'll continue following it. Judiciary Committee Chairman Congressman Jim Jordan.
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.